Good morning. This morning as I was coming back from my walk, one word kept coming to me, and that word was hazy. And, this morning out on my walk, it was kind of foggy, kind of hazy. You could see things, but you almost needed light to see things. And, you knew things were there, but you couldn't really definitively see them as crystal clear as you would like and what have you. And then I started thinking about, other things about, rules and the rules that we all follow. And then I kind of was asking, what's considered a suggestion and what's considered a guideline, and what makes it a rule. There are certain rules that everybody has to apply to, and are there other things that are just guidelines or suggestions, or fall somewhere in the middle. There's a lot of gray area there, and that just goes back to life being hazy, that there are times when we think that we see things crystal clear and we know exactly what's going to happen. We play it out in our minds. We see it unfold exactly as we imagined it. And those days, we expect what's going to happen. And then there are other days when, we have no clue. None. And we just kind of are left to wander and left to even be surprised by whatever life has in store for us. And then there's somewhere in the middle where we see things, maybe we're not sure what they mean, maybe things are a little glossied over, that there's this opaque covering, so we're not able to really truly see things as they really are, but we're not so blind to them that we don't see them at all. They're just somewhere in the middle. And life sometimes can be hazy. It can be full of moments where we are unsure and we think we know, and then really we just don't. And I guess a lot of life is lived that way. We think that we know how things are going to go, and we can pretend that we have it all figured out. But we're not so naive to think that we know nothing, and that our experiences and the roads that we've taken to get us to this very point, have meant nothing. So we're somewhere in the middle, and I think that's really why the word hazy came to me today, is that we're not wandering aimlessly, but we don't always know exactly where we're going either. And sometimes life just makes that cloud or that curtain a little bit darker, so it's a little bit more difficult for us to see. Sometimes we spend more time trying to figure out how to get out of that fog and not feeling so stuck. But life is about making sure that we process things and we know what's right, and we follow the rules that society has shown us and the ones that we believe in our hearts and minds to be true and right and good and all of those things. And then there are times when we need to maybe not follow the rules, and what everybody expects us to do maybe is something that we just kind of take as advice and go from there. Not everybody goes to college, although the majority of high school seniors end up finding their way into some kind of higher education. So it's not right for us to assume that every high school graduate is going to be going to college, because sometimes their journey takes them someplace different. So those are, everybody suggests that you go to college and what have you, but then there are other things that, those are, there's guidelines, and there's all these things that are, standard operating procedures and protocol and all of these things that come into play that tell us how to behave and tell us how to live and remind us who we are and show us everything. But you know what? Life can't be shown in its entirety. We don't know what roads we're going to take. We don't know who we're going to meet along whatever road we take. And so, even when things are unclear, even when we're unsure and we don't see things as clearly as we would like, that's okay. Trust some of that and allow that moment or those moments to, show you where you really need to go. Because even when you are covered in a fog and there's this haze over you, ultimately, you still know where you are. Just like I did this morning as I was traveling to go on my morning walk, I knew exactly where I was. There were some street lights that weren't working, and yet I still knew. So that's when listening to your gut comes in, and you need to follow that because it'll always tell you where you need to be. So even though life will be hazy sometimes and it'll be confusing and we won't have all the answers, trust where you are, follow the really good rules, and make up the rest of it as you go along. Wishing you a great day.